Transition, the process of change from one condition to another.
We are now at a new crossroad where change is evident once again.
What does not serve us must transform us anew.
Returning to our original state of oneness and true nature of that which created who we truly are.
Confusion was the way of the past. Enlightenment is the way of the now and future. Shedding away the layers of deceit.
We now bring you the transformation of the two who started as one. Our fearless planet never stands still.
Earth has been in a process of transition, and we are not exempt from this remarkable ongoing reality.
And hello and welcome to Real Talk with the Cummings. My name is Mark Angelo.
And I'm Lena Ariel.
And welcome.
Welcome, you guys. You guys are awesome.
Yes,
Thank you for joining us.
And there's Darth.
Show.
Shalom, Darth. And Lindsay.
Shalom.
Hey, beautiful people, she says. Yes, thank
Hey,
you for
beautiful
joining.
Lindsay.
Yes.
And beautiful Darth, or
Yeah,
handsome Darth.
Handsome, yes. Well, you could also be beautiful. We could be both, beautiful and
Why not?
handsome, right? That's
Why
what it's
not?
all about. The two will become one, mother,
That's
father.
right. Just like that fish you were.
Yeah, that I talked
That
about
was
this
crazy.
morning, wasn't it? Yeah, and it's like the fish gives up his eyes, his organs, becomes one with the blood system.
Goes into the bloodstream of the other one.
Yeah, and they just become one. That's to me, that
amazing.
is so romantic, is it not?
It is.
Ladies,
Beautiful.
isn't that what you've all been
Melting
looking for?
into
Yes.
the arms
Yes.
of your lover.
Hey, Pheonix. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for being here. Gosh. Oh, who's Martin?
Whoa,
Yo, brother.
Martin's here.
Martin's here.
The
Martin's in the
party's gonna
house.
start.
All right. So, welcome, tribe, travelers, and lovers of light and love.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's like the downloads just keep coming in. Things are great. How about you? How's everything with
the
you?
UK these days? And
It's-
you're going off to California, I
Yeah.
think. That's a long journey,
Yeah, it is.
from the UK
Okay.
all the way across to New York and then across the United States.
Yeah, that's
That's a
going to
ways
be
out.
quite the flight and all that jazz. I hate flying. I don't like to fly. I remember when I went to England, because I was married to an Englishman. I bet you didn't know that, Martin. I lived in Kent originally, then I moved to London. And
All
lived
the
in-
Many Lives.
All the Many Lives. The book, it's the movie. But that was a long flight. But I don't know what was longer. When I went to Argentina, that was another long.
I can imagine.
Oh my gosh. And then I had this crying kid that just would not be quiet. So I was like, okay, I don't like to fly.
Were you in a 747?
I don't remember.
Because those things come down like a sack of bricks.
He says, 13-hour flight.
Ooh.
And Darth says, a man shall go find his wife and become one flesh. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. It's like, I think today people really don't know how to have relationships. I don't know what you guys,
Tough.
They become so wanting to be independent and autonomous and then they do separate things, and couples that stay together or play together, stay together. Right. And it's like, it's supposed to be your best friend, and that person you're with that you marry and it doesn't have to be married with the system, but that you want to be with for the rest of your life. It's like that fish. When I saw that, I was like, yes, they know what they're doing.
Oh, you know what?
What?
We can ask an aviator a question that has pondered truthers for a while now. So, Martin, is the Earth flat or is it curved and round? Because wouldn't a pilot know?
Well, it depends on how they go. I don't know.
If they're flying at 30,000 feet, you would think they would know. Or they say they have to correct for curvature.
Who knows? That whole flat earther thing. I'll never say never, and I'm always open-minded because I'm a truther. But I don't know. And I really, because that's one of those topics when people get in it, it's worse than arguing religion.
Oh, it is. And I have no opinion. I'm just asking a person who's an aviator.
Greetings, Danny. Thank you for joining us. And yes, Martin, Kent was very beautiful. It was countryside. It was just very beautiful. Then I moved to Tootenbeck, London. A lot of Hindus there, a lot of curry establishment. I mean, I used to frequent this vegetarian, I think it was, Indian restaurant because I got off eating meat. I think that's one of the things that put me off eating meat was when I moved to England. I couldn't stomach the only thing that I would eat every now and then was fish and chips.
Right.
But even that was like so greasy. So I frequent a lot of the Chinese restaurants and had plant-based stuff there. And then this Hindu restaurant was great vegetarian food.
Oh, no, the earth is curved. It's what you see from space as people's GoPros have been sent up to test.
There you go. So
well,
Martin has the answer for that one.
I mean, I used to fly drones myself, and I sent my GoPro up into this and up there and stuff. But the thing about GoPros is that they have a wide angle lens, so they're gonna distort things. So
Phoenix says, I can help you. Enki flew away with Earth, and you sit in Tiamat. Look it up. And Tiamat is a piece of what the original Earth, because the original Earth had blown up.
The Earth is a piece of Tiamat.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, Nomad Apocalypse. What landscape in U.S. similar to England?
Oh,
let's see. I don't know, because
I would have ventured to guess maybe
Maine. No,
Maine.
Yeah, Maine.
Maybe,
but it depends because England is very. I mean,
Washington. It's very green.
Yeah, but it depends where you're at in England. I mean, Kent was very green. I had a Irish girlfriend that we would go to Ireland during the holidays. And Ireland is very green, very beautiful. Hey, AK, love and light to all.
Love and light to you, AK. Yes. It's always a better show when you're here.
Yes, there we go. Let's share that love and light to all. Yes, let's all consume that.
Mark is like a kid in the candy store with
I
this
love
new
this
app I found.
I know. I'm like, yes, I get to play now.
You're like, oh my gosh, this thing is awesome.
I know. And Martin says, yeah, fish lens, but in 2.7 kilowatts or something.
2.7 K. It shows it as it is.
Flat Earth is conspiracy for those who need one to keep them going. Yeah, you know what?
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, everyone's got to believe in something, I guess. You know, there are people that believe in Santa Claus. Other people believe in the Tooth Fairy. Other people believe they're born in the wrong body. And, everybody's got to believe in something.
Oh, darn. You don't look down? You're missing out. There's so much to see.
Yeah. Well, some people are afraid of flying. I mean, I don't get all like freaked out, but I just don't like it. And especially after 9/11, where they make you take your shoes off and your belt. I'm like, really? We could all get some fungus among us by walking on this thing without any shoes and it's like.
You know what the funny thing was? Was that I was flying out to Israel and we flew out of Philadelphia.
Patricia, just real quick. I just want to say hello to Patricia.
Oh, okay. And
say hello to Patricia.
Hello, Patricia.
That's the one that her mommy just got the hip surgery.
Oh. Okay. I was in the middle of telling.
I'm sorry.
You kind of messed me up.
I'm sorry, but
anyway, I was on a flight and going from Philadelphia to Tel Aviv, and security was really like sticklers, TSA with the shoes and everything. But Israel doesn't trust the United States. So they had their own security. Yep. And I was about to take my shoes off and they go, don't even bother. We don't even care.
That's just,
it's like that. It doesn't even work. We have psychoanalyzed you like a few hours ago. Yeah. So we already know what kind of person
it's a show. The United States is one big giant show. Argentina is the same thing, Funny enough, I had my tooth, what do they call those little tooth hook thingies to clean your teeth? The United States let me bring that in. When I got to Argentina or heading back or something, they wouldn't let me. What am I going to do? Kill somebody with this thing? It's just to pick my teeth,
Oh, Martin said, if the world was really flat, they wouldn't let you fly or allow cameras up for you to be able to debunk them.
Exactly. Yeah. But, like I said, everybody's got to believe in something, I'm starting to have the attitude, and I think it comes with the awakening of being compassionate and empathetic. If somebody wants to believe they're a unicorn, let them believe they're a unicorn, just as long as they don't push that on everybody else. And if somebody wants to believe the earth is flat, pobrecito, let them believe that. And Brian joins us. And
Patricia says, giving the grandson a bath, hands are wet.
Ooh, just be careful. No electrical appliance near that water now. And Brian Parker says, from what I've been shown, we can't comprehend the paradigm we're in. Flat, round.
Whatever
it is.
We can't even
whether it's square.
Figure out our own selves.
Never mind the
world
planet.
Around us.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what shape it is. We're messed up. We're in a predicament here. So whatever shape I don't think it really makes a difference. But today we have an interesting show lined up. Let me see here.
Interesting.
Yes, very interesting. Let me try doing this.
Oh my goodness, that's a graphic.
Yeah, that is a graphic. Let me go here. And we're going to go here. And let's see how this. Yes, there it is. Yep.
In your face, baby.
In your face, baby.
I got the word of God.
Right. And if you don't believe in that.
Sword of the Spirit. And I'm going to dangle it in front of your face. I'm going to fillet you up.
Yeah.
You're all going to hell.
Hey, Ask Lucid is here. Thank you for joining us. And she says, good evening, beautiful spirits. And Nomad says, and if votes matter, they would be illegal. Ha! That is true.
Yeah.
And what does Martin say?
Let's study Earth and fix that before questioning other stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think the Earth has been through so much. Poor mama. We drill and carve and explode and rape and pillage, and mama just hasn't caught a break. So I think it's time for us to show some love to mama Earth.
Mama love.
That's it. Yes, thank you, AK. Hit the like button, guys. Share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Show us some love as we show you love all the time. And Darth says, heck, I guess we don't even know what the devil name is. I know, and there's all these characters, right? There's Enki, Enlil, Marduk, Lucifer, Jesus, Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah. Yeah, Satan, Lucifer, the
evil one, the adversary.
Yeah, there's so many. There's so many characters in the play.
Marduk.
Yes, we can't say Marduk. I did say Marduk.
Ereshkigal.
Yes, there's so many of them. It's just crazy stuff.
Zeus.
Yes. So the article today is, it's time to start calling evangelicals what they are: the American Taliban.
Oh boy.
We're going to get one for this one, I'm sure. But you know what?
Serves them right.
We need to speak up, people. It's time for us to wake up and speak up. None of this PC. No one gets a free pass. No one. Because we have to hold everyone and everything accountable.
Absolutely.
That's the way it goes. So anyway.
Why is it cut off?
What do you mean, why does it cut off?
Looks like it's cut off.
I don't know. Let's see. Let me bring it this way.
Can you make it smaller?
I could, but at the same time, we can't really read it that great.
It cuts off what they can read.
Okay, so let's see here. Well, let me try to. It takes a little while for it to do what it needs to do. There, no, let's see. There we go. No, but then it cut. I don't.
Just make it a little smaller so
but if we make it smaller, then we can't. No, I'm blinder than a bat. Don't you know that, woman?
Right there. That's going to work.
I'm blinder than a bat.
Everybody can read it.
Now everybody could read except for me, but that's okay. All right, so the Council for National Policy is a conservative think tank made up of a who's who of the prominent conservatives: Rick Santorum, Mike Huckabee, Reince Priebus, Tim LaHaye, Bobby Jindal, John McCain, and the list goes on and on. This article, published by the Washington Post, but reported elsewhere, lays out the group's plan to restore education, quote unquote, in America by bringing God into the classroom. Now, let's before we continue, I want to really focus on that. They want to bring God into the classroom, right? Which God?
They made a big deal out of taking God out of the classroom back when Mary O'Hare or something, remember? And that whole thing about not praying in schools and all that, and separation of church and state. And
but what God? Because I mean, gosh, I took world religion. There's Allah. There's like a slew of God. So we're just going to be
I
like
think
all.
they're talking about the Christian God.
Yeah, well, that's wrong because
that's the only God there is
for them.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, for them, because that's
all that matters to them.
Exactly, but that's wrong.
There is no other God other than the God from the Bible. That's
according to them.
Say.
Well, guess what, guys? No, it doesn't work that way. You're not the big cojones. You're not the only kid on the block. You know, there's other belief system that people would like to be able to partake in. So then we would have to allow all the different gods. We spent all day praying to the different deities.
I think it'd be better to base what we understand about gods and deities if we all just sat and watched Avengers, Infinity War, or the other one, the Apocalypse one, because that would be more accurate than what's in the Bible.
Exactly. And Who's Martin says there is a sickness in humans that has and will always be around to ruin everything we are part of. The smallest sickness called behavior without immediate consequences. Future generations suffer. Yeah, they want instant gratification. Everything quick now. There's no patience.
Brian Parker says, see the video where the leaders of all denominations are kissing the Pope's ring.
That's freaky.
Pope Benedict's ring.
That's freaky stuff. Yeah, that's like really, 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 really sick stuff right there,
As Lucid said, has a question.
Let me see. Did we skip Ask Lucid? Where is she? I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Question. I know may not be directly on target, however, wanted to ask. I'm seeking in young females immaturity of their bodies so young, it seems, in this days. Do you feel it may be due to the food? So you're asking why are younger girls developing younger and younger every time?
Yeah, the hormones in the food definitely are having an effect on.
I think the hormones, and I think there's a combination of different things. Hormones, there might be a frequency change that is actually activating these things. Something, let me see if I can explain this. Something in our psyche from watching television, from just everything that surrounds us is actually making this happen. Because, some hormones sometimes work for one person and it doesn't work for another. It's like, so there's something else. Maybe it's to do with the vaccinations along with the hormone. Remember how cancer starts, promoter, initiator. You need two things. So something is being done there. And yes, food could also be a massive culprit.
But Martin says, I think it's all BS. That's what Martin says.
Let's see here.
And she said, if so, do you have any experience with a gentle cleanse for children?
A gentle cleanse depends how old the child is. I would have to know the medical background. I don't like to give flat out recommendation unless I know a lot of the denominators. But the best thing to do with children is to not allow them to have processed sugar. Feed them real food. The body will take care of itself. When you're young, you're very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very vibrant, you heal easily. And by just putting in the right kind of foods, giving them quality drinking water, that would be the best. And a lot of greens. So the greens kind of take care of itself, I
think you want to slide over just a hint.
This way?
Yeah.
This thing doesn't turn like the other, so I'm used to the other turning, and then I'm able to go this way, but this, I don't have a way of turning like how Google Hangout had a reverse. Right. I can't do it with this.
I just saw your face falling out of the frame a bunch of times.
But I don't.
The camera operator in me is like cringing.
All right, so let's see here. What else do we have? There are many gods as gender. It's all irrelevant until they throw it at kid face in the school. Yeah.
Sponge brains,
totally. And that's what they're doing, And Dottie says, hi, I finally got my Wi-Fi back. Awesome.
Nice. So we got our Ethernet cable.
Yeah, we got our Ethernet cable, so we should be good to go. And Darth says, supernatural. And so Martin, what do you think is BS? That little girls are growing bigger?
No, that people are developing at an earlier age.
Why would you think that's BS? Because I mean, I actually did see that while I was working with children as an occupational therapist, and I did see a lot of the little girls didn't look like little girls. I mean, 9-year-olds started to look like they're 13 and 14-year-olds, which is pretty scary. So I'm interested to understand why you would think that it's BS.
Patricia says, a friend of mine has a daughter that started growing breasts and having periods at age 5.
Wow.
She had to be given meds to stop the progression. And typically those meds are the ones that they give you for prepubescent puberty, which is the same thing that they give trans kids, which is Lupron.
So look at that. 5 years old. Tell me that vaccines don't have something to do with it. There's vaccine, and then there's the hormones in the food. And others, there's some in my, what I'm getting is there's a combination of things that is just like making these girls blossom way too early. And as Lucia said, healthy and preteen, and respect you not just throwing anything out there, especially because I'm talking about my daughter. Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to have you either call me or email me and give me more information. I'd be more than happy to give you a more what's the word I'm looking for? More direct, because I don't like cookie cutters.
Customized.
Yeah, more customized. I don't like cookie cutter stuff because that never works. Brian says, green tea, cabbage, and charcoal. I love green tea. I love cabbage. Charcoal, I mean, I know that it works. I know that it's great for when you're ODing and they need to pump your stomach out and they need to get, but I think it's okay for a short amount of time. Something in me tells me warning for long use.
They put charcoal in fish tanks.
They do, but we're not fishes. And they put charcoal in the water filters to, and hopefully we're not getting that stuff directly in.
Oh, wow. How ironic, Danny. I used to go to a Presbyterian church that asked me to leave since I'm gay. They shut down a few years ago.
It's funny because, Danny, and I don't mean it in a ha-ha way. I mean it like I find that there's a lot of individuals from the LGBT community that are hardcore Christians. There's something to that. There's something to that. I don't want to be offensive, but there's something to that. And we see it. There's something, No,
but the bigger thing that I was interested in understanding from what he said was, they'll discriminate against, a person who's dealing with their sexual preference and stuff. But as we know, there is something that happened within the Southern Baptist Convention and Southern Baptist Church that a big, massive newspaper in Houston put out this big, huge expose. And Jeff Doherty actually talked about it already, but talking about how, the SBC, the Southern Baptist, their governing documents, they banned gay or female pastors from being pastors of their churches, but they don't outlaw convicted sex offenders from working in their churches. So here you have issues with pornography, issues with sexual abuse, pastors taking their liberty, laying on hands the wrong way on people, and they get away with it. And it's really sad because they like to throw rocks at the gay LGBT community, but when it comes to like their own issues that they're dealing with, like porn, like
pedophilia,
wanting to prey on little girls and little boys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
they brush everything under the. I'm not quite sure what Nomad and Who's Barton. Back to your regular scheduled program, and then Nomad.
Thank you, Ask Lucid. She just gave us a super chat.
Whoa!
Thank you.
Let's go find that. Oh, I can't. Oh yeah, here we go.
A super chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see here. Where were we? Patricia says a friend of mine has a daughter that started growing breasts and having. We already read that. Boy.
Danny Flo after Danny Flo. And then Who's Martin said, my earlier comment explains it. Kelly Pereira.
Welcome, Kelly. It's true I work with young children and they are developing quicker, mostly girls. Yes, mostly girls. That is true. Boys could use an earlier development, but that doesn't happen.
As Lucid says, thank you so much. I will email you within the next few days.
I'd be more than happy, and we could either do a phone,
Do it on the phone
or
easy.
Skype,
It's
or
easier,
whatever it is. I'd
and
be more than happy.
he can customize a plan specifically for your preteen daughter, because all he needs to know is just to have, just those little few details about her diet, about her health, her, just her whole medical.
No, I mean,
right?
more than just a few, but
personalized
just
stuff. Basic information.
Definitely. And it was Martin. My BS comment was about how animals don't question God, but we humans need to daily. Yeah, I didn't think he was talking about the little girls being overdeveloped. I thought it was something else. Yeah, and that is true. Animals don't question God, but we humans need to daily. Because animals are, they are in such a beautiful flow with nature and life and energy. I mean, people think animals are dumb. They're smarter than we are. They're more connected to their spirit sense than we are. And they're supposed to be the animals.
Phoenix says, I'm a dog then. I don't believe in God either.
Here you go.
I don't want to believe in something I have to subject myself to, that I need to prostrate myself to. My divine parents, just like my parents here on earth, never demanded of me to bow my knee to them or to worship them. Or, you come home from school and your mom says, bow before me.
Mommy, I can't. Yes.
I'm going to make you food, but you need to bow before me and kiss my feet. It's no, that's not a parent. And our divine parents are not our gods. They are our divine mother, father.
And we're part of them. And there's needs to be a special relationship developed. And yes, we fear our parents when we're growing up, because then, we know we do something wrong. They're gonna, pow and stuff like that. But, there needs to be a harmonious relationship between mother, father, and not the kind of relationship Christians and other religious dogmatic beliefs try to have us to have with.
Nomad says, have you seen the people raising babies as babies?
That's crazy. I know.
I mean, there was an actress, Kate Hudson, recently had a baby, and she is raising that baby girl as a baby.
Yes.
As a baby.
Well, all Hollywood is going. I mean, Celine Dion went crazy with this new and that commercial, and a lot of people, Angelina and Jolie, a bunch of them. It's like something really strange. And Martin says we can build, but we are far behind in a lot of ways. We're lucky we even have thumbs. That's true. Yes.
Patricia says, my mother, who was born in 1926, started her first period at age 15. Definitely girls are developing way earlier than in the past century.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Brian says, how do we know boys aren't developing early? The signs are hidden in the fruit of the looms.
Well, because the testosterone count in boys is really low. I mean, guys at the age of 20 are having problems getting anything
that
going.
And I'm looking also, and I'm not trying to be facetious, but I've always said that boys mature slower than girls. So if girls are maturing faster, I think boys are probably falling even more behind, and I haven't read any studies, but I see this day and age with all the video games, and my brother lived with my mother till he was like 32, married with kids, and still is living with mommy. Both my sister and I got out of Dodge at age 17. My sister around the same age. My brother till 32, till my mom and my brother's wife got into an argument, and then it was like time to fly off the coop. But I see it often, and I'm sure not all men are immature, but there's just this thing, in my opinion.
So what was it? Martin said, a girl in the UK was born a few days ago and legally named unknown gender. Also raised by a man and 5 partners.
That's crazy.
That's idiotic behavior.
That's the kind of world we're living in. And Kelly says, I was born in 85 and got mine when I was 8, turning 9. Yeah, that's pretty young. And it's so hard because, I remember when I got mine, and I know that freaks everybody out, but I think I was like in junior high, and I was around 11 or 12, and life was never the same after that. I hated it. It's a lot of responsibility. I cannot imagine a 9-year-old.
Miss Martin says, this is really gross. Islam says if a girl bleeds, she's good to go. Well, now they bleed earlier, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
Horrific religion, strange rules.
I know. It's gross. And it's almost, you kind of wonder if they are actually doing it, on purpose.
I mean, what about the God of the Bible, right?
Yeah.
He demands for all of the men and boys to be circumcised, to have their foreskin cut off.
That is the most barbaric,
as a sign,
painful thing
as a
that
sign to him.
Little guys had to go through. I mean, it's not bad enough that they have to get all these vaccines. Now they have to mutilate their little wee
But
thing.
think about the fact that grown men way back, during the time of Abraham and stuff, they had to go under the knife.
Yeah. Well, let's get going with this article, because I mean, we could ramble forever with our tribe here, but we want to talk a little information here, and I guess it's your turn. I have said for years.
I have said for years and years, the Christian right is really seeking to establish a theocracy in the United States. And I think that's what they were trying to do with Donald Trump, at least regionally throughout the Deep South. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I lived in the Deep South.
Yeah.
And this latest effort by the Council for National Policy, quote unquote, lays further proof to that claim. This is an effort which, in spite of what many Christian leaders say, is not supported by the Constitution. The Constitution strictly prohibits the establishment of religion as part of the First Amendment, which also guarantees freedom of speech and freedom of the press. The purpose of this separation of church and state, quote unquote, is intended to do two things.
It protects religious freedom for everyone. That's number one. And number two, it prevents the tyranny of any one religion. But this fact won't stop many Southern Christians who feel it is their duty as Christians to make the United States a godly nation in their eyes, and they will cite the numerous biblical passages in which God exhorts all nations to be faithful to him and condemn those nations who are not, as the basis for this duty, which they feel is their right.
And let's talk about that God. I spoke about that God in one of my videos that I did yesterday, called the God of this world. And the God of this world is not who you think he is. Yeah. He is the devil
himself. Little horns, little reptilian, Napoleon, egotistical.
So I grew up in this world, so I know what I'm talking about. As a kid during the 70s, I attended churches in Atlanta with my devout grandmother. I had Jerry Falwell speak numerous times at First Baptist on Peachtree. I was indoctrinated into the evangelical way of thinking by a fiery minister in Smyrna. I studied my King James Bible. I feverishly read Ernst Angley's book about the end times that depicted Christians being boiled alive by the Antichrist. I loved the Omen movies, wholly believing they pretended something real. Trust me, I have been there. Fortunately, I had the sense to give it up. By the age of 15, at the peak of my adolescent sexual curiosity, I realized that any religion that demanded giving up my basic humanity was nuts.
And that's pretty much what they do. I mean, they want your firstborn. They want you to, listen, we are humans. We're going to make humanly mistakes. And that's okay, because mistakes, it helps us grow. It helps us understand things. You touch fire, your hand gets burned. You go, whoa, that's hot. Never doing that again. If you didn't have that experience, you could end up burning your entire hand off because you wouldn't know how it feels. So I believe that this university is here to teach us things. We're using these bodies to sharpen our antenna, to raise our vibration. So we need to get ourselves into trouble at times to learn from the mistakes that we make.
Go ahead.
So, of course, not all Christian evangelicals share these extreme views. Nonetheless, the extremists always give themselves away with their trademark refrain, "I'll pray for you." That's their famous lines, as if you are possessed by demons and in need of an exorcism or something, right? They seem completely unaware of how this statement makes them appear, that they alone understand the truth, that everyone else is ungodly and in need of redemption as they see it by being born again and baptized and accepting their worldview. This self-righteous, arrogant presumption is at the root of all religious extremists, all of them, not just Christians. You're looking at any extremist, they have that same attitude.
I was just thinking about, that concept because, what did you just read? You read something about how they say, oh,
let me pray for you.
Pray for you. Oh,
yeah.
I gotta, pray that, you come back. There's this one woman who commented on our YouTube channel recently. Back in 2016, Mark and I did transition, and we were attempting to follow the Christian path and all that, right?
Right.
So we interviewed this young woman who had transitioned back to being her regular self, and this person writes yesterday on a video that we did like 2 years ago.
Right.
After hearing the truth of who God is, you are now rejecting it and listening to demons, she says. I thought you had come to the realization that transgenderism was a lie. I pray you both repent and ask God to forgive you, and you both wouldn't go to hell because he's coming back. And I pray you deal with the lustful, perverted, wicked demon, and I cast it back into the pit of hell where it belongs. In the name of Jesus, set your children free. I pray, she's praying now. I pray take them both to hell tonight, so they can repent and not go there for eternity. I decree and declare Psalm 71 over them both. I pray that they would turn back to the truth, blah, 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 blah.
Curses and all sorts of stuff.
They believe more in the incantations and spells.
Yeah.
And then I wrote back and I said, so you think that you know who exactly it is that you're serving? You're sadly mistaken if you are assuming that the God that you serve and worship is the true creator. He is not and never will be. I'm going to reveal to you in a video that I did that the God of this world is the devil. By the way, thanks to the guilt imposed by fanatical, crazy zealots like you, this person that we did the interview with is now struggling with coming to terms with herself.
Right.
Your guilt and fear and control matrix make people feel like they're prisoners and doomed to hell if they don't comply to the demands of your demon God. They are the liars of our existence, and they are responsible for making these physical bodies and then tricking us into them, placing us into them, and then blaming us for disobeying their laws. So, it's like, but this person's like, so like adamant when the fact is that, I believe that Christians are the ones who are possessed. Have you ever been inside of a Pentecostal charismatic, rally, church meeting? People are shaking, frothing at the mouth. Sometimes people are barking. Sometimes people are like yelling and screaming or running. It's like chaos. It really is.
Let's take a look at some of the comments here. Nomad Apocalypse says, open roundtables would be a cool show idea, maybe. What do you mean by that, roundtable? Because usually, we involve all the chatters. I don't know if we can invite more than one guest at a time on this. Even Google Hangout, I don't know how many because the quality goes down. But we always welcome people to call in if they have anything to say. And the number is area code 575-519-5930.
Yeah.
I finally memorized it. Wow, it took me long enough. So again, 575-519-5930. And we welcome your comments, questions over the phone if you want to say something. And Martin says they marry girls at 5 from what I've seen to men age 70 and over. That is so disgusting. They can legally marry and move to the UK as a married couple, but not marry in the UK. And the far left want Sharia law. They're idiots. They sure are. Totally idiots. And Phoenix says?
She said they did this because women are concubines, genital mutilation.
Crazy stuff. of. And Brian says, talking to a friend who serves in the Middle East told me they have saying over there, women are for babies, boys are for fun. Look up Baka boys in their culture. Sick stuff. Isn't that the one that the boys dressed up like women?
Yeah,
and
in
then
Afghanistan.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're dealing with a very upside down world.
And you know who contacts a lot of trans women? People from Pakistan, people from Afghanistan, people from the Middle East, that
they're more suppressed. Anyone that suppresses urges, the urges become abnormal urges after a while. I mean, Christians are known for the biggest porn addiction.
Martin says, the Bible, a book written by a man. I'll stick to Stephen King. At least that fiction is fun.
Exactly, Martin. Brian Parker, they're very twisted in how they treat women and children, and our politicians are too scared to say what the F. Yep.
God of this world is the mother, the other one is trying to take it from her with the church. These men in religion, we call it the great race.
And Kelly says, I'll pray for myself, thanks. I hear you, Kelly. To me, it's so arrogant and condescending when somebody says, I'll pray for you. Like,
oh my God.
Like, is my connection with the divine
As if it's
severed?
broken or something.
Did I need to put the things together or something?
And it's funny because we had a friend that wanted to pray for Mark and I, but she had back problems. And we asked her, so do you pray about that at all? She's like, oh,
I never thought about that.
I never thought about praying for myself.
That's because you're too busy getting into everybody else's business, right?
It's like she's a gossiper.
I know. They love to do that. And Pheonix says, the fight for this ring between the mother and the son of sin, this too is out there. 12 around 1 in the morning star, the eye of sound, they call it Satan. You know what we're going to have to do, Pheonix? We're going to have you call in one day and then things that people could follow, like we'll, say, okay, let's explain this. And when they call and explain so that because sometimes it's hard to put together, in reading and writing and all the different, segments of it. It's very fascinating though.
It is. Brian says, yep. Who's Martin? The officers told the soldiers, don't worry about it. It's a social issue.
And Patricia says, who has never lusted ever in their life? I'm sure, right? I mean, come on, we're human. I mean, they put all these needs, animalistic needs in us, and then they're like making us feel like we're bad. It's like, if you didn't want Eve to eat from the apple and the fruit, why would you tempt a woman with food? You could have tempted her with like having sex. She would have been no problem. It's like, honey, we can't do it. God says not to, but food, and then tempting a guy it's like,
yeah. Martin says, pray means you've given up on working on it yourself and hand responsibility to a false thought we call God.
Exactly, because they want, just like any organization, politics, finances, anything, they want to take control over your life and your finances and your thoughts and everything so that they can control you. Nomad said, humping walls. I just had a visual on that.
Okay.
Yes, visual. Yes. Hey, Vanna.
Hi, Vanna. XXX.
Yes. And Pheonix says, whose tongue do they speak in?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
They don't even know. They call it another unspoken language.
I'm sure.
They're like, oh, you have the language of angels. You have your heavenly language.
I know.
You have the gift of tongues.
And Dottie K says, such a righteous woman. Not, who is she to judge Lynn and Mark or anyone? Exactly. I mean.
Well, that's what Christians do.
Yeah.
And that's what they have been known to do.
Yeah. And the thing is, they don't provide any solution. Like, I'm the first one to say that transitioning solves nothing. Okay. But I'm not going to sit there and tell another trans person, you're going to go to hell if you transition. I'm going to tell them the truth. Hey, your health may deteriorate. You're not going to solve anything because at the end of the day, after you run around and get everything done, you're still there. You can't run away from you. You're going to get sick. It's not going to solve anything. You're going to lose a lot of your friends, your family, your job. So, giving information and then telling, but, you could express all you want. You could dress as you want. Feel free, but learn to love yourself. Don't live your life in such a, tunneled vision way where you're like a dog gnawing on a bone that never stops. Start living, start being happy, start getting to know you. There's a difference between judgment and trying to educate,
Danny said, I'm an agnostic. Christians scare me. Some of them are evil.
They are very evil. And, they think they're doing good things. That's the sad thing. Call in is cool. Yeah. I mean, that's always an option for people to call in. And here, let me put the number back up.
Sex ring. They are too, Pheonix says. I ask, what is a prayer? I do not and do not for me. And Darth said, this is why I went monk mode, not dating anyone, man or woman, can't trust anyone. But I would encourage you, Darth, not to shut the door completely down, because we need to be willing to be open. We need to be willing to be transparent and vulnerable, even if we do get hurt.
And it's important, Darth, relationships help you heal. Relationships help you understand the things that you need to work on, because when you're by yourself, it's easy to live because no one's creating friction and making you see things that you may not want to see. And it takes work, but that relationship will awaken certain things in you that'll help with your evolution and expansion of your spirit. So never close that door, because there's somebody special waiting for you. So.
Martin says, me and my partner will marry, just not in a church. I'm not religious and cannot lie. I just want to join with her and have a wedding our own way.
And that's beautiful.
I think that, if you love her and she loves you and you want to make that declaration in front of everybody, then you're married. That's all it is.
Exactly.
You don't need the state to put a paper in your hands with some legal documentation to signify that the state recognizes you. Who cares?
Yeah, and then you have to pay if things don't work out to break that contract. It's crazy. So Pheonix I Am says, who want me beat up again? You want me beat up again? Haha. All will be known soon. Faith and a promise. Well,
I'm sorry, Carmen. Carmen says, hi, Mark, Lena, and gang. Haven't been feeling well, so haven't been on much.
I hope you're feeling better. And if not, we send you favor and healing thoughts. Drink lots of water to get all that toxin stuff out of you. A lot of visualization and just TLC. Lay in bed and let it all just work its way out. And AK said, Pheonix, I am Latin language, mostly backwards in rituals. Latin language, mostly backwards in rituals.
Pheonix says, it's just strange to me.
And Martin says, when I do the lottery, I don't pray to God. When I win, I blame myself for not picking the right numbers. God has nothing to do with luck. That's very true. That is very true.
Nomad says, Walls was about Pentecostal church experience. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Humping walls.
Walls.
Yeah. People doing some crazy ass stuff. I mean, there's one time I saw this kid running in circles and finally he went boom into a pillar, got knocked out. And people are like, oh no, it's the power of God. I'm like, it's not the power of God. It's the power of concrete.
Yeah. And that could be
it's a concussion.
Yes. When people say they find God, they become cocky with false power, thinking he's their best friend. Yeah, that is so true. And Pheonix I Am says, I never found one to let me in or study in my home. I have a plague they see. Ha.
It's better not to have a Christian come over.
Yeah. Was it the other day? I don't know if it was Jehovah's Witness, but at the door, I was like, oh God, no, please bring back memories of when my grandmother used to lug me around.
Would you like the watchtower?
I was like, every time they open the door, I'm like, they're going to yell at us, aren't they? Yeah. So, all right, let's keep.
Our Suze is here.
Hey, Suze.
She said it.
Thank you for joining us.
The boss is in the house.
Yes.
Be good now, my son. Evangelicals in churches and state houses across the country support laws and political systems that brutalize and imprison millions of African Americans, that deny equal rights and protections to LGBT people, and tacitly support violence toward them, and seek to deny women the right to govern their own bodies, often with threats or outright acts of physical violence. They seem hell-bent on ejecting science from education and replacing it with their own creationist ideas.
And doing these things, evangelicals are advocating a religious extremist that is no different from Muslims' extremism, which projects religious authority over all people in their domain, which limits the rights of women, controls the limits of education, and enforces strict adherence to a moral code, which naturally rejects and punishes all forms of decadence, including deviant sexuality, quote unquote, science, reason, and any questioning of authority. Christian fundamentalists, if given the power, will do the same thing. When fascism comes to America, it will be wrapped in the flag and carrying the cross. And that is so true.
You know, the people that turned a blind eye to what Adolf Hitler was doing in Germany were the Christians.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that even Adolf Hitler proclaimed himself as being a Lutheran, you know, and the churches did squat. They did nothing. And this was like, you know, people were getting persecuted, Jews, Poles, gay people, you know, they were getting rounded up, thrown into these little cities and stuff with, like fences around them. And the church did nothing.
Yeah.
So the church is the Taliban.
It is.
You know.
It is.
So evangelical Christians in the United States condemn Muslim extremism as a threat to the country and their way of life, while clearly endorsing their own form of extreme religious authoritarianism. This form of religion establishes a tribally divisive us versus them mentality, which places our rights and prerogatives above the needs of any other group.
And it's used repeatedly as a basis for denying other people's rights, particularly their freedom to choose and even their rights to exist. It's worth pointing out that in the South, religion buttressed this tribal mentality to force a separation between whites and blacks who are seen as inferior. This tribalism is deeply embedded in white suburban Christian thinking and accepted without question. I should have to point out that in the end, this is not Christian at all.
You know, you won't find that many churches that are like racially unified. You know, you'll usually see like a Baptist church that's all African American.
Yeah.
A suburban church that's all white, you know, but it's rare to find, you know, unless, you know, a big mega church or something like that in the city. Yeah. But usually that's mostly white.
Yeah.
You know.
Hitler was Catholic. I was going to mention that earlier. And I wrote a song called Mind Control. And I found a lot of pictures that I used to make the music video. And you see Hitler shaking hands with the Pope, the Catholic Pope. So Danny mentioned that. And let's see here. Okay. She said, just wants a traveling companion that can pay their own way. And
not much to ask.
Not much to ask, right? Then Nikki goes, maybe trouble companion. And Carmen says, yep, that's what I've been doing, the ozone sauna. Yeah, that's good. Sweat stuff out. Drink lots of water and then sweat out.
And Who's Martin says, a pedophile got let off in the UK the other week before he showed remorse and cried in court.
And let's see. Phoenix says, one religion and one government. This is the religion they will force on you. That's part of the New World Order. With a red skirt takes the book across the lands. It is the end. Let's see. She said,
What about?
No. Let's see. Who's Martin? America, who compares Trump to Hitler, should be ashamed of themselves. What an insult to the Jewish people. And Phoenix, I am.
They were not told to raise it again, so they pay the price, and so do others for this.
Hey, April, thank you for joining us. Glad you're enjoying the topic.
Hey, April.
Thank you for joining us. And who's Martin? Phoenix says, who's Martin's funny? Yeah, he does have a great sense of humor. I like who's Martin. Cool dude. Patricia says, how you doing, April? Okay. Anything else important?
So, let's see, where are we? Religious extremism?
Yes, let's see here.
Religious extremism is religious extremism. It doesn't matter if it comes as a Muslim flag bearing or a Christian flag.
Right?
Using words like righteousness or faith or Christ-given mission and hiding behind ideas like tradition and heritage and family values, it won't cover up this fact. And it is up to every freedom-loving person who prefers freedom of choice, freedom of worship, who cares about protecting women's rights and equality for all, and advancing reason and scientific knowledge to be aware and oppose it.
So I don't suggest that evangelicals should give up their faith, but I strongly suggest they should not trample on other people's religious beliefs or insist that people should conform themselves with the evangelical worldview. If evangelicals hate tyranny, they should be very wary of becoming tyrants. But evangelicals will never see themselves as tyrants because they are commanded by their faith to be missionaries for Christ, quote unquote. This mandate engages them in a zero-sum game to convert the country, indeed the whole world, to their faith.
Queenie says something. I'm frustrated with all info because you have to decode news, church, and everything else just to read it in the middle. I get confused.
Yeah, and they do that on purpose. That is by design, So eventually we have to learn how to become good at reading codes and activate your truth meter. And you hear something, read something, you activate your truth meter, and that's kind of connection with your higher self that kind of goes, bullshit, if it's not true, or it kind of lights up and goes, yeah, a little resonation, a little vibration in your heart space.
Our friend Des says hi.
Hey,
hello,
Des.
Mark and Lena. So much love to you.
Thank you for joining us.
If evangelicals hate tyranny, then they should be very wary of becoming tyrants. But evangelicals will never see themselves as tyrants because they are commanded by their faith to be missionaries for Christ.
We read that already. And God bless them.
Oh, and God bless them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the ground.
It's almost like, little G say, come in here, tear the place up. I'm just going to ruin the whole creation that Prime Creator created, and I'm going to take over. So do as you wish, mess it all up, that kind of thing, right? Evangelicals are the Americans' Taliban for sure. Too many that will seem a garish or inconceivable statement. The entire purpose of this article is to point out that religious extremists also exist in America as it does in other parts of the world. And that is not just radical Muslims who are extreme. It is all radical Christians, and that religious extremists can start with something as simple as I'll pray for you, I think that's the end of that. Yes.
I don't think that it's really necessary to argue about Hitler and Trump and, to have these arguments, and then to call people leftists and stuff. I mean, Martin, if you have an opinion and you have a political stance, that's all perfect, well and good. But other people don't think or believe as you do. They're gonna have differences, and the important thing is that we would all just get along and agree to disagree at times, and to respect each other's beliefs. Right. I mean, Phoenix comes from a very different culture than you. You come from a more Euro background, and Phoenix is more native, and she's more just that different belief system, different way of understanding things.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and I personally don't want to get into an argument over who Hitler and if Trump is comparative to comparable, because, at the end of the day, they're all corrupt. They're all evil.
Yeah.
They're all pawns.
There
in the
is,
game.
in Martin's defense, there is a lot of analogy of comparing Trump to Hitler. Actually, he used to compare Bush.
He says.
Oh, you're saying
no.
He's saying the opposite?
Yeah.
Oh, let me see. I'm trying to find that.
He doesn't agree. He says it's a disservice to Jews. He says that it's a disservice to Jews, and that comparing a horrific historical murderer like Hitler to Trump is just nuts. He hasn't killed.
There's been he hadn't yet. Possibly not that we know of. I mean, but hey, the show is just beginning. There's a lot of similarities that have been pointed out. Even back in the day, Bush was compared a lot to Hitler. Anything that deals with, taking people's freedoms away and creating a fascist country as we have here in the United States. Anything's possible. And Pheonix I Am says, the wall, white men know they are running up here. We told them when they came in ships. That wall is very mysterious. There's something behind that building of that wall. All of a sudden, after all these years, why that wall? There's a series from Netflix called The Colony, and they have a wall built. And it was not to keep the Mexicans from coming over. It was to keep people from leaving because of some, the world changed, like this new world order, and people were trying to leave and escape, and that wall was put there to keep everyone inside. What else? The will kill anyone that gets in their way. Yeah, that is true. And Dottie says,
still haven't figured out my mission. She said it. And she said it said me either.
It'll all come all in due time. It's like before you even know it, you'll automatically be doing it. Right now there's just a lot of healing that needs to take place. A lot of, putting everything together within you, gathering the armor, becoming strong, and then the mission will show itself. Pheonix says, just explaining, and I don't care what they call me. Sorry, native here, know what they are up to. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on, that we're like frogs being boiled, but not being boiled right away. The water's slowly getting warmer, and we're thinking, oh, how nice, warm water. Boom, boiling. When too late, can get out and die. And Martin says, I don't. It's your mod who compares them. I'm happy to move on. Pheonix shouldn't compare Trump to Hitler. Let's move on.
Well,
all good.
I'll compare Andrew Jackson to Hitler then, because the Trail of Tears was something that President Andrew Jackson was responsible for in moving thousands of native people from their land and relocating them to a place that they did not want to go. And on top of that, the reason I would also like to compare our government to Hitler is because the U.S. cavalry, what they did to the American native population is absolutely disgusting. And Hitler got his ideas about concentration camps from the U.S. cavalry. So I think that there is some real connections to Hitler and the United States government. Personally,
there's a true saying: history always repeats itself, and there's no coincidence in the world. Everything is calculated, and it happens by design. We will see. We will see what this whole drama, theatrical production is going to turn into. I predict that we're going to see a lot of similarities from when Hitler was in office. We're going to see a lot of that, a lot of the freedoms that we think we have, and we're slowly losing them. We're going to lose them completely. I'm interested to understand, and I don't know if I should even ask this. Why would you become offended, Martin? And I love you, brother. You and I have gotten pretty close via email. Why would you take offense? And you're in England, so Trump is nothing to you really. Why would you think that it's what's the word I'm looking for? An assault on Trump to compare him to Hitler? Why would you think that? And let's see here, as you're writing, let's answer some of this. A.K. Husmar, and they are all from the same club. Yes, very true. I totally believe that. I think that, every president in the United States are related. They all have a mission that from the moment they're born, presidents aren't elected, they're selected. This is all, a very scripted reality. And, history will repeat itself. And children, Granny asks you, play nice, please. Thank you, Granny. You're awesome. Awesome.
Pheonix says, I know about the wall and your government knows. Those people are running up here. They are sick. And Darth said, United States is an island nation. They need the wall when things go south.
Exactly. They're building that wall not to keep the Mexicans from coming here. They're building that wall to keep us from escaping.
We're surrounded by Pacific, Atlantic.
The Colony on Netflix. Oh, scary, scary stuff because it's so this is how it's going to happen. And April says, I think of it as a political stunt of Solom, of Trump's advisor. Just my take. And we appreciate your take, April. Always do. And Darth says, United States is an island. Oh, you just read that. I just love to repeat.
Danny says, the wall is satanic. Do you know how many animals will die for that wall?
Oh, my gosh.
There are species of butterfly that migrate through here.
It's just, I sometimes get baffled by the evil in this world. It really, it's like, just when you think it can't get any worse, it's pretty sad. Plus, my family died for this God and Bible. You can have them, and they're angry God. I hear you, Pheonix.
I completely agree.
Completely agree. Okay, and so Patricia says,
Pheonix I am speaks things I don't always understand, but I listen to learn what I am able.
She's very deep and almost speaks in code that you have to learn how to decipher. But she's writing books. I think she had 3 of them. And I'm hoping that the books will, because with me, I need to organize stuff. So stuff being thrown on, if I can't organize it, my brain's going, cannot compute. But she has some amazing things. And we're very appreciative for her sharing her wisdom here with us. And, okay. They call them res now, but we wait while they repeat. Like that. I had no clue what that means.
They call them reservations now.
Oh,
but
okay.
We wait while they repeat.
Gotcha. See, she's learning how to decipher your code there. That's good. As she says, evil runs throughout all halls of power. Watching the series, The Honorable Women Eye Opener.
Interesting.
Yes, halls of power. And Dottie says, Pheonix, we're all on the rest right now. Yeah, we are. And oh boy, when them FEMA camps start to be used. So everyone's got to get in shape, learn to minimize their needs for food, and learn to really.
April says, yes, Pheonix, my family was affected by the complicit racism as well. Ancestors were sold off for land as well. Both sides of the border.
I hear you, Martin. He hasn't killed the many people that Hitler has killed yet. This has only just begun, as Karen Carpenter sings.
But what do we know? I mean, it's like we're painting this government, and I don't want it to ban our channel, but we're painting this government as being like some, kind-hearted, beneficiary,
put it this
benevolent,
way.
Good country. And this country is not good.
The word government means mind control. Okay. And they work for shadow government, for reptilian race, for the elitists. They don't care about us. I think that's pretty well known. And although Trump has not killed millions of people as Hitler has, this has only just begun. I mean,
I don't know how you can say that though. Obama, Trump, wherever our military is at, is killing
that's true.
thousands
That's
of people
true.
every day.
That's true.
You know, I mean, we've got a whole country in the Middle East that's been overrun, like Iraq, like Afghanistan, like, well, maybe Venezuela is next. I mean, this
what's happening there is
country
pretty crazy. That's true. I didn't think of that.
Cancer.
You know,
we have cancer.
We have to look at different things, not just, you know, black and white. Yeah.
You know, the strategy isn't to put people in little cities and roast them now. It's more like, you know, drop a big megaton bomb on a city and destroy thousands of people. That is something that this country is responsible for. My nephew is an officer in the Army. He's been trained to speak fluent Spanish. And I was always wondering, I wonder why my nephew is being trained to go down to, he said he was going to be sent down to Colombia. Well, gee, that was like 3 years ago. So this country has been planning to get behind, you know, supporting this new Venezuelan government. So they had been training my nephew for the last 3 years. So they knew things were going to take place in Venezuela. And
they know
this
everything
country has propped up thousands of, you know, people, you know, that are evil, you know? I mean, it's like, so I don't take any, I mean, Hitler is like baby in the bathwater compared to this country. Period.
And Des Luke says all these things are to divide us. We must keep a level head. Yes, presidents are selected. Totally. And Pheonix I Am says,
plus they own 13 colonies and we will prove this. We wait.
And religion has done it all, has done it to all of us. No hate, we are talking, definitely. Communication is important. Noma says, division is the game, politics, color, height, weight, money, odor, amount of teeth, and on and on. It's sad, yes.
Yeah, who's Martin? Trump is a puppet, obviously. Another part of the elitist plan, you know, to control and to bring about a one world government. Has many people he has to deal with. It's like the lie. They lie in wait for people, are told about slavery when it's the Arabs who started it. History leaves that out. It's all lies.
And AK says Hitler was the last enemy of the New World Order. They killed him and swapped him with a doubler. And let's see here. That is the same with the people of Austria. Driven FF their land, today living in reservation camps. Yep. Watch Hellstorm, Germany.
The world is covered in blood. It's so sad, Kelly says.
Yeah, it is.
Something needs to be done there. I'm just not sure how to approach it. All they see is the color of my skin.
Sad stuff. And
Pheonix.
Yeah, I was just seeing what Susan had shared a link. This church has gone land to land when we were told to stay on our own. They know this. Plus, they hide underground under you, Mark. Yeah, they do.
Oh, this is a story she shared. Second man charged over alleged rape of 2-year-old girl.
Crazy stuff.
In Australia.
Crazy stuff.
25-year-old.
I'm telling you. Okay.
It's a sick world.
It is.
It's a sick world.
Susan says alcohol, and Inky says, yep, spirit. Pheonix I Am says booze.
Oh, love, what they did with this.
Yeah.
It sedated everybody.
Yeah.
And basically made, destroyed the native populations with alcoholism.
Yeah, they did. Darth says, if presidents are selected, why not Hillary? Just don't get it. Because they want Trump in. I mean, it's like there's just the final trumpet. There's just something very ritualistic about why they placed Trump in office. It'll be known real soon. Like I said, it's only just begun. It's only just begun.
We're all natives unless we're in the elite class.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true.
Phoenix says, they rig every election. Ha ha ha, wake up. This state is big and it never gets counted. Montana. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, when we were watching the election, the last time, everybody just kind of took for granted that it was going to be Hillary.
Yeah.
People were like expecting it.
Who would have thought, really, who would have thought a guy that had a TV show, you're fired, it's like, we thought it was a joke. I was like, what? But here we are. So I'm telling you, grand production. This is a massive theatrical event, life as we know it.
And let's just say with politics, I don't side with people who follow the mainstream media who lie about everything they show, and also study my own ideas and thoughts. And Phoenix said, we did not vote Trump. Most did not, He
was placed in there. There's a reason behind it. And we will soon find out what that reason is.
I think they all work for the same. It's like
both wings belong to the same.
Yeah, it's like Trump and Hillary are like best buddies.
Mm-hmm. They all are. They're all related. They all hang out. It's the elites are the one running this world.
Australia has destroyed the culture and beauty of our native people, the Aborigines. Mm-hmm. They hate white people, which makes it hard for good whites to foster or help. And I think that's one of the things that has taken place in the native cultures in the United States and the First Nations in Canada, is that they don't trust white people, and if a person of Anglo descent wants to be like help, to these people, they're very standoffish, because we went to a Indian, a native historical museum. And one of the things that I'll never forget is a black and white picture with boys with their heads shaved, and they're standing behind this fenced, wall, or this fence, this iron fence. And they have the look of such destituteness, such sadness, such emptiness, because these children, these boys had their hair cut off, and they were ripped away from their families, and they were taught to not learn their language. They were taught to not know anything about their culture. Yeah. They were ripped away from their people.
And April, who is also native, says, many of us still just want to make peace and share the land and live side by side. Just honor the treaties, give up some of what was taken by force, and get real. People can't get simple. Very true. And Darth says,
it's all in the control of the Roman Empire. That's the truth. This country is the Roman Empire. Mm-hmm. It used to be, it literally went from Rome to Great Britain to Britannia, came across the ocean, and it came to our country.
Yeah.
So we are the Roman Empire. This country is the Roman Empire.
So let's see here. Worked in Denmark with many Nunga. What's a Nunga?
What?
She said, I worked in Denmark. Is it Denmark with many Nunga?
Yeah, Denmark? I guess some native people from.
Yeah.
And Phoenix Martin says, Phoenix, you'll be fine. Calm down now. Trump is a smokescreen. End of. Well, the thing is that Phoenix has lived and had the assault of the
Men in Black. Men in Black. She's been beat up and
so has April.
So, all right. So we're going to go to our next. How to turn self-hatred into self-compassion. because everything starts from within. We've got to, is that showing okay there? Let me make sure that I didn't make it too big that everybody can see. So that.
No, it's not big enough.
Well, now it's not big enough.
It's too big. You need to make it smaller because it's going to eat the edge.
Well, yeah, it is. But then that's really small writing. I'm really going to have a hard time reading that. All right. Let me see how that.
It's better.
It's better. All right. So I'm such a loser, quote unquote. I can't do anything right. I'm ugly. How many of us, hear that in their head constantly, right? Too often people brutally judge and attack themselves. If everyone treated others as poorly as they treated themselves, the old biblical adage, love your neighbor as yourself, could be a recipe for war. Isn't that true?
Patricia says, the worst part of taking away people's identity is the loss of knowledge that could have benefited us all.
Exactly, because every tribe, every culture has a piece to the puzzle, and we can learn so much from one another. But that's not what they want. All right. It is.
Negative beliefs, self-loathing, and why it matters. Incessant negative beliefs about oneself may be called self-loathing, self-judgment. Now you're cutting it off.
It'll be fine.
But they can't read it.
It'll be fine, baby. Just read, please. Because I can't see it. These are very small letters. See, it's fine. Go ahead. Can you please read and with the flow of the show, pay attention to what you have to do?
Go ahead.
Where is it now? Instance negative beliefs about oneself may be called self-loathing, self-judgment, self-attack, or low self-esteem. But it all boils down to one menacing problem, self-hatred. At its most extreme, self-hatred can lead people to retreat into substance abuse or use, suicidal, and other self-destructive behavior or violence towards others. Go on.
Go ahead.
No.
Keep on reading.
No, go ahead.
Because people, I'm very concerned because you might as well not even share the screen if they can't read it.
Okay, I put it
That's
on
the
this
problem.
side. Go ahead. If you're reading it.
Why self-hatred? Self-hatred almost always stems from childhood. Trauma experienced after childhood also can feel negative feelings about oneself. Children believe what they hear from others. If a parent tells a child that she's good for nothing or can't do anything right, then that becomes the truth in the child's mind. It takes a very mature and insightful child to say to herself, something is wrong with mom and dad for telling me this. An adult shouldn't say such mean things to me. I'm just a child.
Instead of saying something is wrong with mom and dad, the child usually thinks something is wrong with me. That simply is how a child's minds work. Children need safety and stability. It is much less chaotic for a child to think something is wrong with himself than to think he cannot rely on the people upon whom he depends for food, shelter, and survival. And this is very true. Little people take everything at heart. And if their parents are not providing a safe environment, then they create a very neurotic, not stable, self-loathing adult.
Sometimes a child never hears harsh judgment from a parent or other caregiver, yet self-hatred manages to fester. This happens when, for whatever reason, genetics, environment, plain bad luck, etc., the child experiences anxiety, perfectionism, or other traits that conjure feelings of self-blame in the face of fear, imperfection, or other perceived flaws.
Perfectionism, yes. Trauma, too, can inspire self-hatred. It can feel safer to attack oneself over what happened than to accept that bad things happen randomly in the world. It can happen again at any time. As a result, many people who have endured sexual assault, combat, or other trauma blame themselves for what they've endured, and self-hatred grows.
Self-hatred and shame are related but not synonymous. Shame can be healthy. The mind's tool for helping people understand when they have done something that must not be repeated. However, the majority of shame that people experience is not a healthy tool for learning right from wrong. Instead, it is a manifestation of self-hatred, a message that when they do things wrong, or at least differently than they wish they had, then they are wrong, a judgment of the person and not the act.
Many people who feel shame cannot assign it to any particular action. Shame is a feeling of essential badness that they simply cannot shed. Often people experiencing unhealthy shame feel that if others saw their real self, then nobody could possibly love them. This is a disease of modern time. This is a disease, I believe, in many transgender individuals. That's why they seek perfection. They don't like being criticized. There's many things like that, but it all stems from childhood.
It's helpful to understand how your own self-hatred formed. This can help you to develop compassion for yourself, no matter what you did or did not do as a child. No matter what trauma you endured, the hurt part of you deserves love and compassion and nurturing. No matter what, you possess a fundamental goodness that is not touched by external events. In the same way, the clouds can cover the sun, but never really touch it.
Exactly. The antidote, self-compassion. This is very important. The seminal work on self-hatred and self-compassion is titled, appropriately, Enough Compassion and Self-Hate by Theodore Isaac Rubin. More recently, a mental health professional has published quite a few more books on self-compassion, including The Mindful Path of Self-Compassion by Christopher Germer, Self-Compassion, Stop Beating Yourself Up and Leave Insecurities Behind by Kristen Neff, and The Power of Self-Compassion by Mary Well Ford.
I think we should go to some comments.
Yeah.
She said it has been having a conversation here with some people and says, I hate my face, but I'm learning to be less, I'm learning for it to be less horrid to me. Reframed, I dislike my face. And then Tracy says,
Hey, Tracy.
She said it, I like your face. And then she said it, she just needs our love right now.
Yeah.
We love your face.
Yes, we do.
We think it's gorgeous. And Des says, I like your face, And I said, we love your face. She said it. It's gorgeous. Constant critique, she said it, of your nose, your hair, growing up. It's a shame her nose is so big. She would be almost pretty without it, yada, yada. Wow. I'm a bit surprised, says Zupet, at my emotional reaction to your comment. It hurt my heart that you feel this way.
And see, that's why this particular article is so spot on, because it's how we are raised creates our self-worth and will create the way we deal with life. And then we're constantly seeking happiness based on our looks,
And when our parents say something, that is really, really deep. It goes into a place that not many people can get to. And when your mother says something about your appearance, or your father says something about your personality, those things really dig in. And like Suze was saying, it has been a lifelong thing for her.
Yeah.
She doesn't like her nose. She doesn't like certain things about her. But you know what, Suze, you are not alone.
Yeah.
Every one of us have something that either we've been inbred to not like, because our parents told lies about us, because they had no business hurting us like that, it's like for you, they told you, look at you, you have no waistline.
Yeah. My mom would sit there and punch me in the stomach while we were in the dressing room. I hated to go shopping and trying on clothes because I was either got whacked because I didn't have a waistline, because whatever made me feel really bad. But, one of the things we have to learn and realize, what does Satan, the father of our, bodies, say to us? You're wicked. You're this, you're that. So we can't listen to those voices. And we have to realize that the appearance is not what we should be judging ourselves with. We need to judge our hearts. We need to judge our actions, because this is temporary. It's fleeing. It gets old and wrinkly.
But you know what, though? For some of us, it wasn't even the looks thing. For some of us, for me, it was a personality thing, because my cousin would pick on me and I'd let him beat me up, because I wasn't a fighter. I didn't like to get into arguments with, people and fist fights or anything. So one day my dad approaches me and goes, look if Danny comes again to the house and kicks your butt, you're going to have another butt whooping to deal with because I'm going to kick your butt. So he's like, you need to man up and do the thing that you need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like 5, right?
That's crazy.
And I'm like, I don't have that personality. I don't like to fight. I don't, my uncles and my grandfather built like this ring in the back, and had us like box, and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to do this, and then it puts in this seed of like, you're not man enough, to handle it. So then those wounds go in deep. So for one person, it could be, oh, she could be so beautiful if not for that nose. I'm sure they told Barbara Streisand that, but that didn't stop her.
And it's what made her unique. I mean, look at that girl in Dirty Dancing. As soon as she got a nose job, there went her career. I thought her nose was beautiful. I've always had this attraction, the bigger nose, that kind of, very beautiful. Barbara Streisand. I don't know her name from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
Supette,
what's her name? What's her name from that Star is Born movie?
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
Yes. Supette said, my mother hated me, told me on a daily basis. I relate to you totally. I left home at 12 years old and made my own way through this maze and learned to live in love. And that's the most important thing, to learn to not allow those evil words, to not allow those memories to pollute our heart, because that is what the enemy wants. And that's why he creates those situations exactly to get at us. But we need to be stronger. We need to connect to Mother, Father, and look within the divinity of light that we have inside of us and become strong with that.
Patricia says, my parents hated my straight blonde hair. It was the only thing I liked on me, Right. So the only thing that she liked about herself, her parents were picking on.
They were probably jealous of your hair.
But I think,
my mom was very jealous of me, and it was very clear. And I love her to death. I don't wish her any ill. But, parents need a manual sometimes to learn how to raise their kids, because then you spend a lifetime trying to deal with hurt and issues.
I think one of the interesting things that we can all learn from all of this is that no matter how old we get, no matter how old we may seem to be on the outside, I don't think we really age from being that little boy or that little girl that grew up and stays that age inside. It's like they talk about, I'm young, my spirit is young or something. I mean, it's almost like people that find victory in life, it's like they revert back to their childhood. I couldn't get over the interview we did with Gerald Clark, and then looking at some of the videos that his wife did, Krista did with, I think it was it, I forget who it was, but she did an interview with somebody, and she just had this bubbly, laughing, happy-go-lucky, childlike innocence that was so endearing.
It was.
And I think that's one of the things that we forget is that, just like that commercial about, the flakes that are sugar on the inside, and that commercial where the kid turns into an adult turns into a kid.
Yes.
That is the beauty that we can return to our child. Yeah. To our inner child.
We need to reconnect. And Des says, today we have each other, and there's so much love here. It conquers all. I have a lazy eye. So do I. And so does Lena. But no one is going to diminish the love I have found anymore. And Patricia says, my mom put hideous perms in my hair. My mom did the same with me, painted my hair from a very young age. I was like her doll. And it's like, you don't do that to a child, put dangerous dye in their hair. I think dye in the hair is not a great thing to do, but at 10, much less. Okay. So let's go back.
So she said, my dad was the same, to both my brother and I. He boxed us and wrestled and hurt us and called us wimps if we showed pain. And some boys, some girls just aren't built for that. They're just not the type of people that have that kind of personality where they want to fight or where they want to wrestle. It's like, there's certain kids when you want to play with them with, like my dad used to say, de mano, when you want to play with them, that they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't play like that. So,
yeah. So where were we here?
There are websites devoted to self-compassion. There is also evidence-based psychotherapy that cultivates self-compassion called compassion-focused therapy. It extends cognitive behavioral concepts to foster in people the ability to soothe and accept and understand themselves.
And that's important. We could blame everybody. We could get all victim mentality, but we need to learn how to foster the ability to soothe, accept, and understand ourselves and go beyond the pain, because being in that pain doesn't solve anything. It's okay to own it, feel it, but we must learn to let it go. The common theme underlying all these work is that self-compassion is the antidote to self-hate. So how do you create more compassion for yourself? Well, over time, I will write about many different ways to grow the seed of self-compassion. For now, here are a few tips to get you started.
Tracy says, yes, don't let the you ares tell us. I ams tell us things.
Yeah,
we define who we are.
Tracy left. She had to go back to work. So if you're still listening, Tracy, thank you for joining us.
Talk to yourself the way you talk to someone you care about. In compassion and self-hate. Dr. Rubin advises readers to tell themselves, I treat myself as I treat a child I love. Cognitive behavioral therapists employ a similar technique, often invoking the question, what would you say to a good friend who is going through the very same thing you're going through? These are important questions. If you hate yourself, you likely say things to yourself that you would not dare say to another person. What would you say to somebody else who has the same exact traits as you? What could you say to yourself?
Recognize that belief do not equal truth. Often people believe that they tell themselves, if you think you're a loser, you may believe it's the absolute truth. Try this cognitive behavior technique called the 3 C's: catch, check, and change. Catch yourself thinking something negative about yourself. Check whether your distressing thought is true. Change it if it's not. You can't talk back to your negative thoughts. Challenge them. Serve as a defense attorney to the prosecutor in your head. And you can rechange your thinking by doing that. It's like working a muscle. You are most likely used to thinking negative because that's how you got raised, with negative parents who put you down. But you have the power to change that. We can't continue to live in the past and live in that pain and continue to believe the lies. We need to change it.
Embrace the concept of good enough. Many people feel they should be perfect, never angry, always generous, never critical, always right, and so on. These expectations deny that imperfection is the human condition. If you are one of these people with too high expectations for yourself, ask yourself, what is good enough?
Yeah, and that perfectionism is a byproduct of how we were raised. And we have to break that because there is nothing that's perfect. And you drive yourself crazy and others by trying to get that expectation going. Consider turning to spirituality. I'm not going to read or religion, just spirituality. Many spiritual center on the belief that people are flawed but inherently good, not only lovable but also inherently loved. These beliefs can serve as a huge balm for their hurting soul. The practices of meditation and mindfulness can foster feeling of self-compassion as well as loving kindness towards others.
If you hate yourself for mistakes you made, make amends. You may be reading this and thinking, this does not apply to me. I did something so awful that I can never be forgiven. Well, first, as much as you condemn yourself, ask if you would equally condemn to their face someone else who did the same thing. If not, then you are being unfair to yourself. Perhaps you really did do something awful. If you can't make amends for that to the person or the people you harmed, do something good for somebody else. Beating up on yourself, it serves nobody. Doing good for others and taking part in a larger movement not only helps others, it helps you, and it can lead to self-forgiveness.
And that's the name of the game, self-forgiveness. Try therapy. A good compassionate therapist can help you foster self-compassion and better understand the roots of your self-loathing. My question to you, do you ever hate yourself? If so, what helps you to deal with this brutal judge who lives inside your head? What tips do you have for others in the same situation?
Patricia Rybarek says, I'm 65 now, and I still keep my hair long, straight, and natural out of rebellion.
And then Kay said, she said, that is not really you. You are much more than you think. Exactly. That deserves being up there. You know, we believe the lies. We create the lies. We beat ourselves up. And, you know, frankly, this does not matter. This is part of the enslavement. Every time we deal with this and give it so much glory, we're glorifying the reptilian God that created this world. When we glorify our spirit, we're glorifying Mother and Father, our true creators. I don't know about you, but I don't want to give glory to no Satan or rat bastard, as Jeff calls him. She says, just had to acknowledge the root of the thought process. Now I can cut them down. Awareness is key. Awareness really is the only way to heal. Once not aware, you can't combat the problem. You can't heal.
Yeah.
You know? And denial is not good.
Zupet says, I'm 54 and have hair down to my rear. LOL, Patricia.
Wow, I'm 54 too. And I have no hair.
Rex says, hey, y'all.
Hey, Rex. Thank you for joining us. And Patricia says, hey there, Rex.
Just don't care to be normal, but natural, that is the key.
Exit. Natural. I like that. Natural. That's how we are, natural. It's other stuff that we try to become and be and do. It's not conducive to anyone except for Satan. He loves that because he knows he's got you. He's like drooling when you guys give yourself up to him. All right. So we're going to do a little must do. Let me see here.
Exercise.
Yes. This is very important, folks. Not only your spiritual awakening, but also your physical activity. Got to do something. You got to either walk in, lift some weights, and I highly recommend weightlifting because as we age, after the age of 35, it all goes downhill.
Does it?
Your muscles start wasting away very quickly. So you need to do something to build them back up. Also, your bone needs stimulation. Weight training is one way of preventing osteoporosis. So these are must-do strength training moves for, and this says women here, but men also need to do this kind of stuff. So life goes too fast. The older you get, the more you recognize how fleeting it is. So how would you like to slow down the aging process? That's a proposition many of you would like to know. No, we can't turn back time. However, we can turn back the years in our body. Researcher has shown the exercise can slow down the physiological aging clock. That's right. Working out can keep you young.
And while cardiovascular exercises such as walking and jogging or biking are important for your heart and lung efficiency, it is strength training that provides the benefits that keep your body younger, stronger, and more functional as each year passes by. If you want to be vibrant and independent for many more years, this strength training workout will help you achieve just that.
And I'm going to go ahead, because I know many of you are probably going to ask, well, where can we get this article? And I'm going to put it right here for you guys to copy it. If you need to have a cheat sheet.
You should highlight it. Highlight it.
Highlight what?
Oh, just that
Yeah.
post on the thing.
No, but they're going to have to click on it so they can have it and save it. So, one of the things I noticed, cardio is good, but cardio makes your metabolism slow down and it actually ages you. Weight training stops the aging process. Why is it important to strength train after 50? Well, apart from the obvious, right? Everything's dangling. According to the American Council on Exercise, between the ages of 30 and 80, sedentary adults can experience as much as 30 to 40% loss of muscular strength as a result of reduced level of muscle mass.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
The good news is that this doesn't have to happen. The word sedentary is key. Strength training is important for everyone, but after 50, it becomes more crucial than ever. It ceases to be about big biceps or flat abs, but rather takes on a tone of maintaining a strong, healthy body, less prone to injury and illness. The important benefits of strength training after 50 include these things.
Building muscle mass. No, this doesn't mean you turn into the Incredible Hulk. It means that you are a solid, strong person who can lift their own groceries, push their own lawnmowers, and pick yourself up if you fall down.
It builds bone density. Unexpected falls put countless older people in the hospital every year. An 8-year-old puts a cast on his arm and gets back to playing in 8 weeks. An 80-year-old isn't quite so fortunate. The ramifications of broken bones can be devastating. Strength training can help. One study in New Zealand on women 80 years of age and older showed a 40% reduction in falls with simple strength and balance training.
It's very important, especially, when you combine the functional training with the balance and circuit training, it's critical. Decreased body fat. Too much body fat isn't good for you at any age. Maintaining a healthy weight is important, especially when it comes to preventing many diseases that come with aging population. It's not about losing weight, but about losing fat percentage, changing your body composition.
Lowers the risk of chronic disease. Not only will strength training help stave off many chronic diseases, but it also helps lessen the symptoms of issues you may currently have. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, recommends strength training for most older adults to help lessen the symptoms of the following chronic conditions: arthritis, osteoporosis, diabetes, obesity, back pain, and depression.
It improves your mental health. Along with aging comes a higher rate of depression. And for many, a loss of self-confidence. Strength training has been shown to improve your general self-efficacy and can help lessen the incidence of depression. Sounds like a pretty good deal, doesn't it? For just 20 to 30 minutes a day, you can see big changes in your body's age. So let's get started.
The following workout will give you 10 excellent exercises that women over 50 can concentrate on during their workouts. Several exercises are going to include single leg moves or stability ball moves. These were intentionally incorporated to help improve balance and coordination, both of which decline with age. You'll need a pair of 5 to 8 pound hand weights. Move to heavier weights as you get stronger, and a stability ball.
Now, guys, you can do this too, obviously. More than 8 pounds. I would recommend anywhere from 15 to 20 pounds for you guys. And the stability ball it's like better than a bench because it contours to your body, and there's like a whole full body workout that you could do just with 2 dumbbells and a ball like that. If you don't have a ball, you can perform the exercise on the floor or a bench. For each exercise below, perform 8 to 12 repetitions and rest for 30 to 60 seconds in between the exercise. Move slowly through each exercise, concentrating on proper form and continued breathing. And don't forget, it's always helpful to have guidance. If you have the ability to reach out to a fitness professional, even if it's just for one session, he or she can help you take you through the proper form and teach you how to move properly for your body. Enjoy your newfound youth. Now, it's important to have proper form because if you're training your muscle incorrectly, you're going to build a wrong pathway and you're going to develop postural issues. You could possibly hurt yourself. The muscle is not going to get the benefit of what it needs to. It's not just weights. It's how you position yourself, the cadence, how hold it for 3 seconds. I mean, there's so many different ways. I'm a master personal trainer, so that's my forte. And my love, because I love to sculpt people. This one right here is called a forearm plank. Although this particular exercise can be challenging for some people if you've never done it. It is a great core exercise. The longer you hold it, you're also going to get your tricep as you're seeing the way, the elbow. And you guys, you could do this one as well. This is stagnant, and there's a mobile kind where you actually lift your butt up to the air and then bring it down. You're going to get your core even more so.
So you begin by lying on the floor with your forearms, as the model shows, flat on the floor, making sure that your elbows are aligned directly under your shoulders. You engage your core and raise your body up off the floor, keeping your forearms on the floor and your body in a straight line from head to feet. Keep your abdominals engaged and try not to let your hips rise or drop. Instead of 8 to 12 reps, hold for 30 seconds. If it hurts your low back or becomes too difficult, place your knees down on the ground.
Always respect pain. That's very important. Let's read some comments here. AK says, and follow the golden rule and you're good to go. And Sue says,
great topic, Len and Mark. Thank you for sharing.
oh, anytime. And she says, yep, I bought the weights, just got used to them and put into a routine. Building routine changes one thing a day, remove and one good habit added. Well, copy the actual link there, and because it has pictures and I'll show you. I've got 2 fur companions that force me outside to walk every day. Walking is very good for you. It is definitely very good for you. And yes, dance is great exercise. Definitely is. Okay, so number 2, modified push-up. If you're strong enough, you don't have to modify them, guys. You could do a regular push-up. But for you ladies, this is a great one to actually target your chest muscle. You're also going to be targeting your triceps, which are right over here. I don't know if you guys can see the little pointer. I'm sure I eventually will. Let me see. Does this thing show the cursor so that I'm not thinking I'm doing something and it's not? No, it doesn't. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Well, the triceps are the ones that, oh, there it is. Yes. Okay. That's the tricep right there. She's a little too curved. I'd like to see the back a little bit straighter, and I like to see her stomach get tighter so that she could do not only get the chest, but she could get really good exercise with that. Begin in a kneeling position on a mat. If you're a lady, if you're a guy, do your regular push-up with hands below shoulder and knees behind hips, so back is angled and long. Tuck toes under, tighten abdominals, and bend elbows to lower chest towards the floor. Keep your gaze in front of your fingertips so neck stays long. Press chest back to the starting position is very important. And you keep good posture, your neck straight up, that you make sure you're not hurting your elbows, that when you go down, you don't feel anything pinching. Once you get hurt, it's a killer to try to, especially at a certain age.
AK says, my weights are mostly stone.
There you go.
And Des says, yes, I love dancing. It really does help. And I still have difficulty going outside. But you know what? I've started walking up and down and just inside and doing better already.
That's awesome. Dancing is great. And that's one of the things when we get our little Pheonix Cruiser and we get to meet up with you guys, dancing is something that, oh my God, salsa dancing and just movement. Movement is so important, for many things, not just physical, but emotional and spiritual.
And this is a great exercise here because you can actually exercise and meditate at the same time.
The basic squat. These are called air squats, really.
Stand tall with your feet hip distance apart.
Right there.
Your hips and knees and toes should all be facing forward. Hold dumbbells in hands to make it harder. Bend your knees and extend your buttocks backward as if you are going to sit back into a chair. Make sure that you keep your knees behind your toes and your weight in your heels. Rise back up and repeat. And it targets your glutes.
Yes.
It targets your whatever, what else? Your quads and your hamstring.
Now, right here, you've got to be very careful not to allow this knee to go over because you could really damage your knees. So make sure that, your knees are not going over your toes. Make sure that your buttocks is pushed back, and while you do this, you want to tighten your core.
And your back.
Yes, and to make sure that your back is nice and straight. A lot of people curve their backs. A lot of times, one of the things I would always look for in my clients or teach them is proper posture while they're doing the exercise, even if that meant they're doing less amount, and even if that means they're doing less weight. Proper form is important.
For me, I find that, when you actually bend and arch your back, that's probably that's better than doing this.
Yeah, well, the rounding, you could really impinge a nerve or impinge your I can think of the name of it now, your disc, and that's not good. And this is the ball that they're talking about. This is awesome. I mean, this ball, you can do so many great things. Stability ball chest fly. Okay, so hold a pair of dumbbells close to your chest and place your shoulder blades and head on top of the ball with the rest of your body in a tabletop position. Feet should be hip distance apart. Raise dumbbells together, straight above the chest, palm facing in. Slowly lower arm to the side with a slight bend in your elbow until elbows are about chest level. Squeeze chest and bring hands back together at the top. And, right here, make sure that your body's straight, knees a little apart, and you bring the weights out and then in, keeping the palms facing in, breathing in on the way out, blowing out when you have this position right here. Okay, and here's the next one.
Stability ball tricep kickback.
This is an awesome one.
And you hold the dumbbells, place your chest on the ball with the arms draped alongside the ball and legs extended out to the floor behind you. Keep your head in line with your spine. If you don't have a ball, lay belly side down on a bench or stand with feet staggered from to back and body hinged forward.
Pull your elbows up to a 90-degree angle for start position. Press dumbbells back to lengthen arms, squeezing triceps. Release dumbbells back down to start position. So here you have starting position, and this is what you want to do, forward and back. This is an awesome exercise. You're also going to get some of your back because of the position that you're doing here. Make sure your abs are nice and tight. Make sure your legs, you're also going to get some leg here because the way you're positioned. So this is a multi-exercise. Although it's targeting your tricep, you're going to get a lot of other muscles kicking in. And I highly recommend that you get a ball, more so because the ball in itself, there's so much stuff that you could do. Like this exercise right here, you could also do it on a ball, the one that I'm showing you, the shoulder overhead press. And it's start with feet hip distance apart. Bring elbows out of the side, creating a gold post position with arms. Dumbbells are at the side of the head and abdominals are tight. Always keep your abdominal tight. That's your core. And always keep your legs a little bit bent if you're doing any standing exercise.
Press the dumbbells slowly up until the arms are straight. Slowly return to starting position with control. If desired, you can also perform this exercise seated in a chair or on a stability ball with the feet wide.
Just like I said, here you could either do it in a chair, but a ball is always better because the ball is always going to integrate the disc, your vertebrae. It's going to really massage it. I mean, you can just sit on the ball and bounce, and that alone is giving you tremendous input on your spine, on your vertebrae, on the discs. So the stability ball overhead pull. This is a very good one as well. Hold a pair of dumbbell close to your chest and place your shoulder blades and head on top of the ball with the rest of your body in a tabletop position. Feet should be hip distance apart. Always raise dumbbells together straight above the chest, palm facing down, as you see the picture right here. Palm facing down, facing in. Slowly lower arm behind the back of your head, keeping only a slight bend in your elbows. Squeeze your lats as you pull arms back to starting position above the chest. And there's another look at that. This is awesome. It gives you a nice stretch right here. You're also going to get your core. You're going to get some of your arms.
We need to do that one tomorrow. Use the stability ball and get some dumbbells.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
This is for when people don't have a gym. This is great. Like when we get our van, probably what we want to do is get a ball and get, some dumbbells.
And some bands.
We already have the bands.
Right, but not bands.
Yeah. So
stability ball side leg lift. Begin kneeling with the ball to your right side, hugging it, being friendly with it. Let your right side lean slightly on the ball and hug right arm around the ball. 3, extend the left leg long to the side. The right leg should remain bent on the floor. Slowly lift and lower left leg 8 to 12 times and then switch sides.
So as you're holding the ball, the leg right here is going to go up and down, up and down. If you have little ankle weights, 2 to 3 pound ankle weights, it'll be a great one. You could also move it forward and back, or up and down. You could also bend your leg and straighten, bend and straighten. There's many things. I mean, I'm a master personal trainer, so I come up with all sorts of different things.
Torture techniques.
Yes, I love the torture
especially
technique.
The abs.
Yes, I'm the ab master. Single leg hamstring bridge. This is a great one for your abdominals, and it also gets your hamstrings and also gets some of your back. You're also getting some of your arm because you're isometrically pushing down the arms, and you could get some of your calf on the opposite leg also. So I think we need to do this. Okay.
Chris Martin says, exercising is very important. People who make excuses need to realize the benefits are more than just muscles.
Yep.
Mental health.
Extremely. I need the gym. That has been my savior, being able to work out. It keeps my mind healthy. It does something inside of you besides changing your muscle, but it changes the chemicals in your brain. So you want to lie on back with bent knees, hip distance apart, and feet flat on meat. I guess on the meat on the mat. I'm like on meat. Squeeze glutes and lift hips off the mat into a bridge. Lower and lift the hips 8 to 12 repetition, then repeat on the other side. You want to try to do 3 sets of every one of these exercises that we have shown you. This is called
the bird dog. And Hughes Martin says, swimming is great for everywhere. And Rex says, for sure, Martin, raises the vibrations of the mind and body.
Yes.
Darth says, we must build body, mind, and spirit.
Totally. That's what it's all about. Body, mind, and spirit. All three.
Mens sana in corpore sano. I guess that's Italian or something.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, kneel on the mat on all fours. Reach one arm long, draw in the abdominals, and extend the opposite leg long behind you.
Notice that she's got her left arm and her right leg. This is great for your vertebrae, for spinatus muscles. The spinal erector muscles, which are the muscles of the back. This is also going to get your butt. And if you could actually do that and then maybe lift your leg up, you're going to get some of your glutes by squeezing your glute. You're also getting your tricep right over here. And you're going to repeat that 8 to 12 times. And then you are going to switch. And
that's it.
And I think that's it.
That's it for now.
That's it for now. Yeah. Well, that's a pretty good workout.
Rex says, I was listening to a podcast at the gym the other day talking about these beings that took over our world and how their vibrations were so low, just miserable beings. We are better than that.
Totally. And we need to do things to keep our vibrations up, from meditating to exercising to eating properly to thinking positive and happy thoughts. And that's why I try to bring the combination of different things. It's like stop with the self-hatred. Stop with wanting to be somebody else. Stop with eating wrong. We need to do all these things to keep the body, mind, and spirit healthy so we could fulfill the mission that we set out to do when we came down here. We got detoured, so we need to reconnect. Tai Chi, yes, April. Tai Chi is a good one. You've been practicing since 2005. I've been instructing for several years. The rule I teach for pain is feeling sharp pain, stop immediately. Dull pain is usually not a bad thing. Yeah, a person will eventually you're going to build lactic acid, especially when you're weight training. So you're feeling a burn, and that's good. The burn is awesome. You want to feel that burn. But if you feel something snap, pop, some, sharp pain means that you could have torn a muscle, many things like that. I don't like to allow not even, any type of pain unless it's just burning, which is lactic acid, where you just feel burned. But if you're feeling any kind of discomfortable pain, you might have torn a muscle, you might have damaged, and you don't want to mess with your nervous system, because if you injure a nerve, then you're definitely in trouble. I used to train people from the my youngest client was 10 years old. They brought him in because they wanted to get him in the football team. And my oldest has been 80 something and did it for a living in the actual facility for over 11 years. And I've been doing online clients forever. Yeah.
Patricia says, I have to modify any exercise that places the palm on the floor, severe carpal tunnel.
Carpal tunnel tends to come from your neck. And you might want to start doing stretching your neck, heat and ice. Start off with cold and end with cold for like a few minutes, then put heat and then cold. There's something going on that's constricting that medium nerve. If you become very mindful of not excessively bending that elbow all the time, vitamin C, high doses, is a natural anti-inflammatory. You can actually wrap yourself with Coband, and Coband will bring some of that swelling down in that median nerve. And when you're doing any type of stuff on the floor like that, you might want to there's these things that they sell for push-ups so that you don't have to do this, but you're like gripping the handle, and it's keeping you in neutral. And you'll develop a lot of strength on your forearm, which is very important. Okay.
And that is how we do it.
And that's how we do it. And now we're going into the manifestation.
She said, it says, I've got titanium pins in my wrist.
So you want to do the neutral type of thing where you,
and carpal tunnel, she says.
Is it on?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, there's always ways around substitutions that you can create that will help you. But if bending causes agitation, then you want to, obviously you're not going to do it on your knuckles. It's going to hurt. But if you grab those, they sell the push-up handles where you can do push-ups with your wrist in the neutral position. And that's always very helpful. Martin says, I take vitamin tabs if I feel like I need so much fruit in my diet. I also eat meat though. Okay. Not going to judge you. Not going to judge you. But meat bad. All right. How many times have we heard the words, you're not enough? Usually we are the ones telling ourselves this, though. It starts off in childhood. Our parents tell us, but then we continue to tell ourselves the same thing. We continue the tradition, We base our self-worth on our looks, how our hair appears that day, what we wear. But is this a true depiction of our worth and who we truly are? How many times have you looked in the mirror today? I used to have a girlfriend. Everyone used to call her espejito, meaning mirror, because everywhere, this was a trans girlfriend, everywhere there was a reflection, they were looking at it. It's like, can you not, glance at yourself for a minute? How have you made a difference in the world lately? Yeah. Were you frowning all day because you were not happy with your physical presentation? Or did you get out of your own head and made it a point to make someone else's life better? Sometimes that helps when we stop being so self-focused and we create focus on other things, other people, bettering lives of somebody else, engaging in things that keep you away from self. From that self-consumption, because it's good to be good to yourself, but not about your looks. Maybe a smile or a look of acknowledgement that made someone's day. I love that. I love to be able to make eye contact with people and ask them, how's your day going? And smiling at them, or doing one of the, when I see a guy, it's like, how you doing? You know, maybe connecting with your true self versus the self in the mirror. That's a good one for you. What did you do today to get to know the real you? Not the reflection of you, but the real you. How you doing? How you been? You know, talk to yourself, get to know yourself. I bet you there's many people out there, they don't have a clue who they are, what they love, what they like. They go by the mirror, they go by what they've been told to believe or think. Instead of being enamored with who you think you should be, why not be enamored by the true essence of you? The spirit that fills that temple instead of the temple itself. Be the light that you wish to see in the world. That's a beautiful line right there. Be the light that you wish to see in the world, instead of the participating darkness that dims the light of others. See a lot of that, right? A lot of darkness that love to dim the lights of others. Be kind to yourself. Accept all your imperfections. Not some of them, but all of them. And do not try to alter the plan Mother, Father has created for you. Mother, Father doesn't like that. You may ask, how do I know what the plan is? Many of you were talking in the chat room earlier, and you don't know what your mission is yet. So I say this, if your life is not filled with love, happiness, and peace, then you know you're not on the right path. That's a clue right there. If it's hard to deal with your everyday life and you're constantly upset about something, fighting with yourself and others, then you're not on the right path. I hate to break it to you, but if you need to explain yourself and are seeking validation from others, then you're not on the right path. Free yourself from yourself. We are our worst enemy. And give your heart and life to the mission. And the mission, you may ask, is? The mission is to unite, to free yourselves, to connect with your tribe. Be a gift to all. Be in love and be free. Namaste. That kind of went hand in hand with, and it wasn't done on purpose.
Yeah.
It was like, when I was reading we were reading the article, I'm like, hey, the manifestation moment kind of, is going to coincide with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't because I did the manifestation first and I found the other stuff. So, wow. Yeah. Lots of good stuff here. Lots of good information. I hope that we could all put it to use. The exercise, the loving self, it's, and to love on those evangelical Christians and hope they find their freedom and leave us all alone, right?
Yeah, right.
So, and Dottie says, with me is what you see is what you get. I love that, Dottie. What you see is what you get. No hidden agenda, just pure, raw, and real. All beautiful things.
Rex says, haha, meat bad.
Yes, meat very bad.
Meat bad. Darth left us.
Who left us? Darth?
Darth.
Oh, all right, Darth.
Who's Martin says, people perform to the public and be themselves at home alone, crying their pillow and question why they hate themselves. Always trying to impress is stressful.
Oh, we got an alarm going off. Oh, it stopped.
It used to happen a lot more.
Yeah, it stopped. That's good.
Oh, she said, it says, I don't look in mirrors, but laughed through the day of cleaning spilled garbage bins outside being poured on, scrubbed vomit, and I felt lighthearted through it all.
Yeah, mirrors, I think, were created by Narcissus. What's that god, the Narcissus? And then he looked at himself. Narcissus looked at himself in the reflection and fell in love with himself. That's today's disease. Mirrors are really bad. I would love for there to be a mandate that no more mirrors. Take them all out. What would people do? No mirrors and no selfies. Wow. That would be a challenge for a lot.
Well, before the digital camera came out, people didn't really take pictures like that because
they couldn't.
There was no instant. Well, there was a Polaroid.
Yeah, but you couldn't take your own.
It was expensive.
Yeah, you're like, I
don't think people just took selfie Polaroids.
No,
it was like 10 pictures per cartridge.
And a cartridge is like $8 or something
I know,
like
so
that.
you had to like be really.
It was like, no, I don't want to take a picture of that. It's not worth it.
I'd be like, do I want to take a picture of that? I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. And the mirror thing is like, gosh,
Or remember the flashes we used to have?
Oh my God.
You bought them and then they'd stick them on the camera and they go, woof.
I know, you're like blinded by the light.
Or it would blow up. Remember that?
Thank you, Rex. Glad you enjoyed it. And I'm on in the mornings. Thursday, I've got from my rehab therapy, I got to go directly to the doctor. So Thursday might start the show at 10:15, make it shorter because then from there we go to the gym. But I'm trying to do a show every morning, or try to every morning at 9:30, subject to change and whatever. But that's, and really delve really deep into healing. Trying to teach people how to learn how to activate their visualization skills to activate healthy cells, to keep all your cells healthy so they don't go rogue on you. I'm also touching on gender and trans issues. And if anybody who is a detransitioner and wants to be on my morning show and share your story and brainstorm, and talk and talk in loving ways to transitioners, because I would love nothing more than to be able to make a connection with people so they could hear the healing words, because that's what it's all about. If you're a parent with a trans child and want to talk, want to express, be more than happy to have you on the morning show. So yeah, and you could either call in or I could do a guest thing, but please feel free to email me at transitionradioshow@gmail.com. I'm trying very desperately to try to, educate and bring a union and bring relief and peace. And even if you want to transition, do it for the right reasons and do it in a healthy manner, and be able to be okay with yourself. To realize that there's no such thing as perfection. You're not going to get there. It's not going to happen. You're going to drive yourself crazy doing it and take years from your life. Accept who you are and love who you are and express freely and be happy, because that's what it's all about. Like everyone out, so the haters. Like everyone out, so the haters. Not quite sure what you said.
Because there were 18 haters.
Oh, were there 18 haters? 19. Oh, wow.
But it, it's really weird how YouTube works. It's like you wake up the next morning and there's like 0.
Yeah, it's really weird. So guys, remember to hit the like button so we could out past that. It's probably a lot of the evangelicals that came by. I
don't really put much stock in it.
I know. But I think YouTube doesn't share the videos if the thumbs are down. It throws off the rhythm or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But guys, share it, like, subscribe. If you like what we're doing, support the channel. We've got a PayPal right there so we could get our cruiser. What is it called? Pheonix Cruiser. So we get head on the road and meet you guys in person. And I have so many ideas that I want to put out there once we get on the road, gatherings and just healing events that we could really, really dive deeper into this. There's only so much you could do sitting in front of a computer, but there's so much that I would love to be able to bring to the table. And, hands-on is so much easier and better. Love you, AK. Thank you so much. Love you, Pheonix. Love you, She Said, Greatest moderator in the world.
Thanks for keeping everything sane.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Patricia.
Oh, Patricia, my gosh. Thank you.
You're so kind.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Patricia. We appreciate you. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate all of you, every single one of you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And Martin, thank you. Thank you, Dottie. What else do we got here?
Yes, Martin,
Rex.
thank you so much for, interacting with us and helping us. You've been like such a blessing to us.
Yes.
Giving us all these videos and
and our
the graphics
logo,
that we have.
yeah.
I mean, thank you.
Yes, and the trailer and all the great stuff. And who else do we have here? Donnie, Patricia, AK, Rex, Darth, but he left. April.
I mean, if you guys need any like graphics or any videos, definitely
the actual. If
we
you go to
have.
the channel,
let me see the Logitech. What is it?
920.
920.
Yeah, Logitech 920.
C920, I think.
Yeah,
that's what Martin was asking. What kind of webcam do we have?
And thank you, Des.
Does it look
thank
okay?
you, Zoo. Live stream only allows you to do 720. It doesn't allow you to do 1080.
But 720
it's still pretty good. Yeah. Good. And I think with this new program, it doesn't buffer like it did before. Now that we have the Ethernet cable, that stuff is awesome. So yeah, I want to thank all of you so much for joining us and being part in Tracy and Nomad. And who else? I'm trying to dig deep here, trying to find everybody that.
Soul's Eye Jules has just joined us right now. Hi, Soul's Eye. We're about to get off the air,
but thank you. Better late than never.
Chris Martin says he uses the Logitech C920.
That's what we have. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Actually, that was given to me by the producer of when I had Transition Radio TV. He, it was with Gay Live Television, and original was with Not Straight TV, and great production. I did it for a ton of years with them, and then decided to pull away. But it was easy because I didn't have to do anything. I just send them a script, and they would know exactly what to put. Boom, boom. I had guests from all over the world. I don't know if you ended up watching the one with what's that band Bunny, who used to be a guy and turned and decided to transition. They had like a mime type of group, pretty popular group. Interview them. I interviewed people from all over the world back in the day.
We use a Samsung Go mic.
Yeah.
He uses a Blue Snowball.
Yeah, this Samsung is a little thing, but it's awesome. It's like Samsung Go. It's very portable, and it's got different.
Neil.
What?
It's like when we're on live, he likes to adjust the microphone, but he doesn't realize that when he touches it.
I didn't touch it though.
No, but when you do, you've done it in the past. You go and you try to adjust it, and it's like, you do realize you're going.
But I didn't touch it.
No, not now, but you've done it before.
But anyway, it has little like Omni and Union, something with a C, and it's pretty good. Cardioid, yeah. Sadly, I couldn't watch you as I was driving in a blizzard. Oh my gosh, grateful to be home and warm.
Where in the world are you?
Blizzard's not good. Blizzard's not good at all.
That means slippery. Yes. That means ice. That means
I've been contemplating.
Cold. That means cold.
If to leave the beard this thick or to bring it down and shape it some. I feel like Bushman. It's like.
Well, we are kind of losing your eyes pretty soon.
Yeah, no, right? My mouth.
It's gonna go.
Eat. No. So I'm trying to figure out eventually. But I'm thinking, well, maybe I should keep it for the winter time. When it gets summertime, maybe I should. Wintertime, it keeps the place warm.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Welcome home, Souls. Yes, and I'm glad you're safe home.
Yes.
I hate driving. I don't like to use the word hate. I dislike driving in the snow or in the rain. Remember, we were on the journey. It was raining really bad, and the car kept on trying to hydroglide. That was scary.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, all beautiful souls, Megwitch, and namaste. Mark and Lena, I have to get on to making arrangements for tomorrow morning and my move.
Oh.
Wow, good luck with your move.
Yes, hope all goes well.
Hope you're not moving in the snow or in a blizzard.
That wouldn't be good.
Because Winnipeg is cold. I'm in Eastern Oregon. Wow, over a foot of snow today so far. I have a big four-wheel drive Jeep. It handles great. Where in Eastern Oregon? We loved that area.
It was nice.
Wasn't it beautiful?
Yeah, it was very beautiful.
We were out by the mountain range. Remember that one lake that we went to? And it was like, we went to the library to
Okay.
get Wi-Fi in Joseph, Oregon.
Okay.
I think it was, or close to there.
We went to so many places in 90 days that everything is a blur. Unless I go back and watch the videos, everything's a blur.
We
You
went
know.
to Pendleton, Washington. No, Pendleton, Oregon. That's where we went to that one Indian museum.
Yeah.
Went to casino.
Yes.
Down the
Yes.
street.
It was amazing. I can't wait to get back on the road. I mean, that's just
Crazy drivers today. Yes, Soulseye.
Yes.
Rex Clark says, crazy drivers today in upstate New York.
Wow.
It gets cold there too.
Yeah, big time. And
They
I
get
can't
lots of
imagine
snow.
driving. I cannot imagine driving in snow.
Upstate New York is nothing like New York City.
Mm.
I mean, New York City and upstate New York, they might as well be different countries as far as I'm concerned.
All right, so we will end the show. Just keep your distance when you are out there, and you will be good. I just imagine if the car just hydroglides in the snow, and then you're like, you can't stop it, and you see it do this thing, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna crash. No, okay.
Yeah. It reminds me, I don't want to go there.
Yes, we got snow and ice. Yeah,
Snow
spring.
and ice.
Where are you, spring, and then summer? Because it's been very dampy cold here. Like that kind of goes through your bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't like cold.
I like riding my bike. So, Baker City, Oregon. You were at Wallowa. Yes. I'm not far from there. I lived in Joseph and I'm from the Pendleton area. Check us out sometime. You're always welcome. Baker City is so historical. I think Baker City, we were going to stop at a Walmart and spend the night there.
Baker City.
Yeah. It was not too far from Wallowa. Wallowa Lake was where we went, and we saw those. Remember, like the cottonwoods were falling.
Oh yeah.
Remember,
Mhm.
and that we were gonna stay there, but it was like a state park. I think it was.
Yeah.
Pretty area though.
It's a blur.
Pretty area.
And we saw a lot of beautiful places.
I
Lots
got
of
some
beautiful
screensavers
places.
from Wallowa Lake. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the country. And we saw, what was it? Dinosaur bones and things over in Eastern Oregon. Remember?
Mhm.
We went to, it was like the backside of a high school that had like this area where you could dig for fossils and stuff.
Good night, beautiful family, says Dottie. Yes, good night, all of you. And thank you so much for your presence, for your love. You know, we appreciate you more than words could say.
Absolutely. Can't wait to visit Eastern Oregon. Maybe when we get our Pheonix Cruiser, we'll take a drive out to Baker City.
Yes.
Have a show out there.
Yes.
Meet and greet.
Meet and greet. All right, guys. I'm going to end the show with a performance that I did back in 2014 here in Silver City. At the time, it was a Transgender Day of Remembrance gathering, and I performed a few songs, but I'm just going to share the one. Guys, remember to love yourself. Remember to take care of yourself. Remember to work through all that hurt that you gathered throughout your lifetime, breaking free from those stagnant energy. Join me tomorrow. I'm going to be doing different things to help people learn how to visualize, how to heal themselves, how to break free from old programming. I have a lot of ideas that I want to put forth and I want to share with you guys. So catch me tomorrow live at around 9:30, 9:45. I don't want to give an exact time because it all depends, on things in the morning. But yes, please support it if you can. And please share and like and, tell your friends about what we're doing here. And we're here for you. We are totally here for you. And we appreciate you. So, guys, we love you. But remember to always love yourselves too. Good night. Now let me share this here. It's going to be this one. TDOR. Ooh. And I'm going to share the big one. And go here. Make sure that that's completely on. Yes. And here we go.
So I asked Mark to play us, Mark would play a couple of his songs, which will lead us into our prayer time.
This next song was written by my ex and I. We had a group called Transcend. We wrote the words and we put the music together. It's a lot better when we do it together. She does the lead guitar, I have a little drum machine. It's called It's Your Life. Yesterday came and went. All memories is all that we have left. Time goes by all the time. Enjoying the moment, leaving behind. All we have is now. Live with pride and pursue your dreams. It's your life, live living well. Don't forget what it means. Look within, see alive. You don't always have the need to fight. It's your love in your heart. Don't let anger take so hard. All we have is now. Live with pride and pursue your dreams. It's your life, let the living well. Don't forget what it means. Play this game we call life. Take the gamble and learn to play it right. It's up to you and no one else. The creator, the leader of this trail. All we have is now. Live with pride and pursue your dreams. It's your life, living well.